Hey guys, Sean Media just want to do a big shout out to Rugby League Culture Lounge. All the best this year, 2020.
Alright, oh yeah! Fuck! Fuck. Unbelievable. Another week. Another tough defeat. You know, let me just say something here. You know, I don't mind losing a game of footy. I actually have no problem with losing a game of footy because it's all part of the game. But when you lose to your rivals twice in the same season, when your rivals humiliate you early in the season and later in the season at your home turf, it's very, very frustrating. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not in the fucking mood tonight. You know what? I think I need to get something off my chest. You know what? Fuck! What was that? 30-14 against the Broncos, who didn't even have Adam Reynolds. Look, I know we didn't have Valentine Holmes, who is the best center in the comp. I know we didn't have Jeremiah Nanai, who is a top 5 second rower in the comp. But fuck! It's just so annoying. At home as well, sold out crowd in Townsville. It just shits me off. Now, I kind of saw this coming because I did say last week after the Titans game that fatigue was starting to catch up with the Cowboys. I sort of had a bad feeling about this. If you watched the Titans-Cowboys game last week, obviously I was there in attendance and it was depressing losing. But fuck, man. It's just so frustrating when you just get fatigued this time of year. I mean, you have a look at us. Our start of the season was terrible. And then we found a bit of consistency finally. And then we go on this win streak of 6 games in a row, have a terrible hiccup last week. All of our Origin players looked extremely fatigued. And then we get to the Broncos and we just look even more tired than we did last week. I reckon we're better this week than we were last week, but fucking hell. It's just frustrating. I'm just going to say this right now. I am so glad we have the bye next week. Jesus Christ. Our Origin players are itching for a week off. We need the bye now more than ever. So I am very happy that we have the week off next week. Thank God. Now, I know we're not in the top 8 at the moment because Newcastle had a win tonight and the Sharks betting Souths just makes things even more crazier than what they already were. So, look, season's not over by any means. If you're going to put a pen through the Cowboys right now for the top 8, you're off your head. There is still 3 more games for us to go. We got the bye next week. That's 2 points there. Sharks in Townsville. Big game. Dolphins at Suncorp. Game that we should win. Then we got the Panthers last round, who are probably going to rest everyone. They're going to rest everyone, Penrith, last round, because they're going to finish first or second. So it's not over. It's fine. But I'll tell you what, if we lose to the Sharks, that'd probably be it. We lose to the Sharks, it's probably all over. But far out. We got to be better. Far out. What is this? Stags better than Holmes. Garbage. Again, bullshit. Val Holmes is the best center in the competition. You're off your head, guys. Fucking Stags. Go away. It's rubbish. Val Holmes, Crichton will be the Dally M centers of the year. That's a fact. But you know what? That's my little rant over. I needed to get that off my chest because it's been pissing me off since the game ended. Yeah, you wait. You guys wait. Everyone, go on, write us off. It's all right. Write us off. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Write us off. We'll have the bye. We'll freshen up. And then we'll come back and we'll beat the Sharks. And everyone will be looking out again. So, anyway. Welcome to the Saturday Football Review. I hope you guys are all doing well tonight. Obviously, I'm not in the best. I'm not in the best of moods, as I'm sure you can tell. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Welcome to the Saturday Football Review. 3 games of football today. Obviously, the Broncos beating the Cowboys up in Townsville, 30-14. The doubleheader in Perth was a huge success. Knights over the Dolphins, 30-28. Gee, the Dolphins are unlucky. Thought they were going to win that. I picked the Dolphins. They were that close. They had the lead as well. They were up by 10. And they let it go a little bit there. And then Cronulla. What the hell? Where has that been from Cronulla for the last 6 weeks? Cronulla finally show up. I'm shocked. The Sharks won tonight. Now, question marks around South Sydney. What the hell are they doing? What the hell was that from Souths? How do you let Cronulla go up 26-0? I couldn't believe what I was watching in that game between South Sydney and Cronulla. That was crazy. This top 8 battle is the craziest I've ever seen, man. Like, have a look at this ladder. You've got Newcastle in 6 on 27 points. You got 7, 8, 9, Rabbitohs, Sharks, Cowboys, all on 26. Manly on 25, only a game out. You got fucking Parramatta. I think if they win tomorrow, they go back in the 8, don't they? Oh, no, they won't. If Para win tomorrow, they'll go to 9th, I think. So this top 8's crazy. You got the Roosters, who are still a little bit of hope, I guess. A little bit of hope there for the Roosters, but they're for and against. I reckon that's what's gonna cost them. That's gonna really hurt them. But yeah, this whole top 8 jam is just crazy. But let's get into the review. Let's go back to the Cowboys and Broncos game. Yeah, far out. This was frustrating. I want to give a shout out to Kyle Feldt. Kyle Feldt got his jersey back tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. It was outstanding. He had a great game, Kyle Feldt. The Cowboys, look, we had a few chances to start off. I mean, I thought Feldt scored the first try. Obviously, didn't go to plan. Our attack just looked really flat. I know the Broncos' defense was very good, but some of the Cowboys' problems today. I mean, have a look at this. Chad Townsend's goal kicking was a big problem. He missed 3 conversions today. That was frustrating because if he kicked some of them towards the end there, when it was a 10-point game, it could have been a 6-point game. It could have been a converted try in it, which would have had a different aspect of things, I reckon, with the way the match was going. Like, it's just frustrating. But look, you look at the situation. The Broncos, they defended very well. It seems like that the Broncos, they're just so deep at the moment. Like, they can win without Reynolds. They just seem to be able to do it. You know, you have a look at Penrith a few weeks ago when they were without Cleary. They were able to beat a few teams still. And Brisbane today were without Reynolds, and they were able to do the same thing. It's like it didn't even matter if he was playing today without Reynolds. Ezra Mann was on one knee. I don't know how he got through the game. He looked really busted towards the end. Paddy Carrigan, he was probably the best player on the ground. He probably gets the man of the match, to be completely honest. For the Cowboys, look, just frustration. I don't know, man. Like I said it before. I think it's just fatigue. Like having to win all those games during the Origin period, go on that run. Now we're at the back end of the season. We can't really rest anyone because we've got a lot of catching up to do because of our really poor start to the season. So it's very hard to play catch up when you have a slow start like we did. We were 3-7, 3-8. We had a horrible start. Now I think we're 11 wins, 10 losses. So it's a little bit frustrating with where we're at the moment. But I still think we're alive. I don't think we're dead and buried. You look at our run home; it ain't the worst. So it's going to be interesting to see how all things plan up. Broncos, they defended very well. They attacked fairly well as well. Like the Reece Walsh try was extremely lucky. I mean, Drinkwater went for the intercept, knocks the ball on, and then the Broncos end up going over to score. And then the Cobbo won off our own stupidity, throwing the ball around, taking a gamble. So there's 2 tries there that we shouldn't even allowed to happen. And edge defense. Obviously, Mo Talangi playing center for the first time. He defensively was, everyone was all over the place. We're just on the back foot too much, and we just gave them too much field possession, and eventually they just sucked the life out of us. But I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm really pissed off with losing to the Broncos and with the way it did. But I just want to take this moment, and I'm going to say congratulations to the Broncos on the win. A lot of fans have been giving it to me on Instagram, private DMs and shit. Well done on the win. Congratulations. The Broncos will probably finish top 4 now if it's not confirmed. But hey, well done to the Broncos. It's frustrating, but we'll see what happens over the coming weeks because this whole top 8 is chaos. I think the top 4 is just about set in stone. Melbourne are probably the only team in the top 4 that are a bit shaky, but the top 3 look to be set. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, well done to the Broncos on the win. Congratulations. Man of the match, I think you've got to give it to Patrick Carrigan. I thought Patrick Carrigan was just outstanding. Probably the player of the game for me. So Paddy Carrigan, man of the match. Best player for the Cowboys was probably Taumalolo. So, it was one of those days, but we'll move on. Let's go to the next game. Dolphins and the Knights. This game was very, very entertaining. Newcastle Knights 30, Dolphins 28. Now, obviously, this game was in Perth. There was a double header in Perth. And let me just say, it was a success. I think they had about 45,000 people there. This game was extremely entertaining. You had Jermaine Asako get 3 tries. You had Kalen Ponga doing his thing. Jackson Hastings doing his thing. This Dolphins Knights game was just crazy, bro. Like, you had Ponga. Newcastle started off very well. Then the Dolphins got back in it. Well, they were up 14-6, I think it was. And then it was 14-12. Then we got to, I think it was 22-12 Dolphins. Then it was 24-22, 30-22 Newcastle. Then it was 30-28. And the Dolphins were coming for the Knights. Like, they were coming for them towards the end. Unfortunately, they just didn't have the quality, I guess you could say, the Dolphins, to seal that game. They didn't have the big name players. I mean, you had the Hammer playing at left center. I don't know why the Dolphins are trying to experiment that again. We've seen that the Hammer doesn't get enough football at left center. He clearly needs to be playing fullback. So that was very strange. Get the Hammer at fullback. Nikorima, very fine player, but he ain't a center. He ain't a fullback. It's as simple as that. Get the Hammer back at fullback. Get Ewan Aiken back in the team. Yeah, very, very, very strange. The Dolphins season is probably over. They got the Roosters next week, which I suppose, I guess they're a chance. I mean, that loss to the Dolphins puts them in the same position as the Titans. They probably don't make the 8 from here. Season's probably over. They're gonna have to win every game and hope a few results do go their way. So it's going to be very tough for the Finns to make it now. But for a team that just came into the NRL for their first season, they have done a hell of a job. They've been very competitive. So, well done to the Dolphins. Having a really, really competitive season. No one thought they'd do anything, really. And they're probably doing better than what anyone would have expected. So, Finns are doing well. As for Newcastle, well, they weren't pretty. They were very ugly today, the Knights. But because they're one of the teams fighting out for the top 8, they just had to win. And they did that. And well done to the Knights. My player of the game, oh, mate, this is a tough one because there was a lot of really good players in this game. But I'm going to give it, for the second week in a row, Jackson Hastings. I thought Jackson Hastings was absolutely outstanding for the Newcastle Knights this afternoon, tonight, whatever. Thought Hastings had a very good game. So I'm going to give Jacko the player of the game in the Knights' 30-28 win over the Dolphins. Now, final game. Wow, what an upset. Cronulla Sutherland Sharks 26, South Sydney Rabbitohs 16. Well, I have no words. Braden Trindle at 5'8", finally stood up. Nico Hines had a solid game. Connor Tracy at fullback did a terrific job. The Sharks forward pack, they really gave it the Souths. And their backs, Talakai. That was the best game Talakai's played in ages. Trindle was probably the player of the game. Brayley, Hamlin Ueli, they were just outstanding. As for the Bunnies, well, I think there needs to be some serious questions with Souths. They were really average. I don't know what the hell happened to South Sydney. That was flat. Now, against the Tigers last week, the Rabbitohs were very flat, and they ended up winning that game just because they had a bit more quality and class over the Tigers last week. It wasn't pretty at all against the Tigers. As for tonight, against the Sharks, I don't know what the hell happened there. What the hell was that? Cronulla just decided, they went over there. They were written off through the week. No one thought the Sharks could do it, and they went over there and they stunned the Bunnies. They led 26-0 at one point, and then Souths got 3 tries in like 10 minutes, and it was a 10-point game, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh shit, here we go. South Sydney making a bit of a late comeback, but it just wasn't to be towards the end. Tell you what, I felt really sorry for Tyrone Munro tonight. I really felt sorry for him. He had a really tough game. I thought he was going to score 3 or 4 tries at one point. The amount of times where the ball went to him and he wasn't able to finish off on a opportunity was a shame, because I thought Munro was going to score a few tries tonight, but sometimes the ball just doesn't go your way. Souths have got to be careful. They got to be careful. They're just hanging on to that 8th spot. They'll be very careful now. It's going to be very interesting to see how Souths go. Now, they got the Dragons next week. Surely they beat the Dragons next week. It's in Cairns. But I think South Sydney are in a similar position to the Cowboys as in terms of fatigue. Souths look fatigued as hell. They haven't played in Sydney for ages. Their travel has been ridiculous. They had to go to, where was it? They had to go to Sunshine Coast. They had to go to fucking Perth today. Well, they were there Monday, but so they'd travel to Perth. They got to go to Cairns next week. Where were they the week before? Tamworth. They had to go from Sunshine Coast to Tamworth to Perth and back to Cairns next week. Now, I know they got to Perth on Monday, but, You got to think fatigue, jet lag, stamina, the back end of the season where every team's starting to get a little bit tired. South Sydney are looking like one of those sides that are just starting to run out of gas and they haven't got much left. So it's going to be very interesting to see how South's going next week against the Dragons. But yeah, I think Souths need to have some really strong conversations with each other and work out what is really happening there. Now, as for the Sharks, they were terrific. They played really well tonight. I thought they were going to miss the 8, the Sharks. I thought they were gone. They probably hold on to the 8 now unless they lose to the Titans, Cowboys, Knights, and Raiders. I think that's their run home. Is it an easy run home? Titans won't be easy. Cowboys in Townsville will be tough. Knights in Newcastle will be tough. And then they got Canberra at home, which will be a game that's 50-50. So I wouldn't say the Sharks are locked in for the 8 now, but if they miss it from here, it'd be really disappointing. I think Trindle and Hines as a combination starting to gel, starting to get better. But for the Sharks to go over to Perth and beat Souths, Sharks were without Will Kennedy. They were without Ronaldo Mulitalo. Teague Wilton's been a big loss for them. For the Sharks to still win, it's a massive result for them. So good on them. And they finally beat a top 8 team. The Sharks finally beat a team in the top 8. Took them 23 rounds, but they finally did it. So well done to the Sharks. Massive surprise. I actually did not expect the Sharks to win this game at all tonight. Now, there was a sin bin with about 5 minutes to go to Tom Burgess. That wasn't even a sin bin for mine. It was all chest, and then because it's like the with the contact with the whiplash, it goes up towards the face because of the chest, and then the player gets hit in the head, and blah blah blah. Burgess shouldn't have been sin bin. That was ridiculous. But what can you do? Well done to Cronulla. They I think they go to 5th or 6th now on the live ladder. I think they go to 5th until Canberra play tomorrow. So very big win for the Sharks. My player of the game from this one. Look, I've got to give it to Braden Trindle. I thought Trindle had a very good game. 2 tries. Some of his magic tonight was outstanding. So I'm going to give Braden Trindle the player of the game. Now, before I wrap things up here, I just want to let you guys know that in the next hour or so, I think it's 10:45, I've got it set up for, the Titans Warriors matchday vlog will be out. I'm going to change the time to that till 10:30. So in about 35 minutes from now, the Titans Warriors matchday vlog will be premiered on the channel. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, guys, that wraps up the Saturday football review for round 23, the NRL. If you guys enjoyed the review, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, have a good night. Full time, Broncos 30, Cowboys 14, Knights 30, Dolphins 28, Sharks 26, Rabbitohs 16. Fuck the Broncos.